How are you all? I hope you are all fine and safe at home. Today we are going to see the first chapter in geography, which is environment. So we have already seen about environment, right? So what is meant by environment? Environment is sum of all natural and man-made things present all around us. It provides us air, water, food, land, etc. So, environment is a sum of natural and human-made things present all around us. It provides us air, water, food and land. Next, we have discussed about components of our environment. There are two components of our environment, like natural and human-made. Natural includes living things like plants, animals, bacteria, fungus, etc. Next, human-made includes non-living things like water, air, soil, light, etc. We have already learned about natural environment. It is grouped into various domains like lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. Lithosphere means solid earth. Hydrosphere means all water found on, under and over the surface of earth. Atmosphere means the gases that surround the earth or its air. Finally, we have biosphere. Biosphere means all life on earth. So we have already discussed about ecosystem. It is a system formed by the interaction of all living organisms. Here organisms means beings. So living beings with each other. So now we are going to see the new topic, that is humans' interaction with environment. So let's read the paragraph. Human beings, like other animals, interact with nature and their surrounding environment. Like the birds, use twigs and straw to build their nest. Humans also started using things from nature for their comfort and need. So let me explain this paragraph. Like other animals, human beings also interact with nature and their surrounding environment. Like the birds use twigs and straw to build their nest. Likewise, human beings also started using things from nature for their comfort and need. Now let's read the paragraph. Thousands of years ago, humans lived simple lives like wild animals. They killed other animals for food or even ate fruits and other plant products. They used animal skins and tree barks to cover themselves from rain and cold. So let me explain this paragraph. 1000 years ago, humans lived simple lives like wild animals and they even killed other animals for food or even ate fruits and other plant products. Then they used animal skins and tree barks to cover themselves from rain and cold. Now let's read the paragraph. Gradually, with innovations, they exploited more and more natural resources, found ways to get metals, materials, crops, etc. for better livelihood. They also started domesticating animals. So now let me explain this paragraph. Here gradually means slowly with innovations. Innovations means transformation. So slowly with transformations, they means human beings exploited. Exploited means make use of more and more natural resources. Found ways to get metals, materials, crops, etc. for that better livelihood. And also human beings started domesticating. Here domesticating means tame. So they also started taming the animals.
Now we are going to learn the continuation of the topic humans' interaction with environment. The invention of the wheel and the steam engine revolutionized industry. Here revolutionized means transformed. So the invention of the wheel and the steam engine transformed industry. Subsequently means following. So the invention of electricity and radio transformed the way people worked. Now they could work any time of the day and communicate over long distances. With the passing of time and more inventions, human developed complex systems to help store food, transport food and material, trade, communicate across the world at a much faster pace. That is why the world is sometimes also called a global village. So what is meant by global village? The world considered as a single community linked by telecommunications. So what is meant by telecommunication? Telecommunication means communication over a distance by cable, telephone, etc.
Now let's see the new topic, that is human interaction and effects on environment. Here effects means result or outcome, or in other words consequences. So effects means consequences on earth. Now let's read the paragraph. Human interaction in various forms affects the environment. Some of the major actions by humans which affect the environment are as follows. The first one is pollution, the second one is deforestation, and the third one is global warming. So let me explain this paragraph. Human interactions in various forms affects the environment, and some of the major actions by humans which affect the environment are as follows, like pollution, deforestation and global warming.
Now we are going to learn about pollution. First we have to know what is meant by pollution. When harmful substances contaminate the environment, it is called pollution. So here contaminate means poisonous or not pure. So when harmful substances contaminate the environment, it is called pollution. In other words, pollution is something introduced into the environment that is dirty, unclean or as a harmful effect. Pollution refers to the very bad condition of environment in terms of quantity and quality. Next, we are going to learn about industrialization. First, we have to know the term industrialization. Industrialization means the development of industries in a country or region on a wide scale. Here, region means area. So, industrialization causes smoke and other chemical pollutants to be released into the air and water around them. Next, let's see about air pollution. Burning of dry leaves, plastics, and firecrackers causes a lot of air pollution. Next, we are going to learn about water pollution. The drainage of wastes from towns and cities, as well as excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticide in agriculture causes water pollution. Here, excessive means too much, so the drainage of waste is from towns and cities, as well as too much use of chemical fertilizers and pesticide in agriculture causes water pollution. These human activities cause contamination of both air and water, which affects people. Here, contamination means poisonous or not pure. Pollution of the atmosphere is a matter of serious concern. Living beings breathe this air, which has chemical and dust particles that affect their life. Similarly, the polluted water affects the vegetables and fruits grown with such water. It also causes shortage of clean drinking water. Resultantly, a large amount of diseases are being caused due to these pollutants entering the human bodies. Here, resultantly means as a result. So, as a result, a large number of diseases are being caused due to these pollutants entering the human bodies. Next, we are going to learn about deforestation. First, we have to know the term deforestation. Deforestation is otherwise called as clearance, clear cutting or clearing the forest or trees. In other words, deforestation is the removal of a forest or stand of trees from land, which is then converted to a non-forest use. This can include clearing the land for agriculture or grazing, or using the timber for fuel, construction or manufacturing. Large-scale deforestation is happening around the world. There is an increasing demand for paper and wood products. Here we can see the pictures of papers and wood products. Large forested areas are being cleared to bring land under agriculture or industrial activities. This is being done to meet the demand of food and goods for the growing population. Deforestation affects the ecosystem and regeneration of oxygen on the planet. So here, regeneration means process of renewal. So, deforestation affects the ecosystem and process of renewal of oxygen on the planet. It affects wildlife, affects the life of tribals and people living in and around forest who depend on the forest produce for their life needs. Next, we are going to learn about global warming. First, we have to know what is meant by global warming. Global warming is the long-term heating of Earth's climate system due to human activities, primarily fossil fuel burning, which increases heat-trapping greenhouse gas levels in Earth's atmosphere. So here, greenhouse gas means gases that trap heat in the atmosphere are called greenhouse gases. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, human activity has rapidly means quickly changed the balance of gases in the atmosphere. Burning of fossil fuels like coal and petroleum releases water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ozone and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. So here we can see the pictures of fossil fuels, coal and petroleum. Carbon dioxide is the most common greenhouse gas. At the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, its presence in the atmosphere amounted to about 280 parts per million. Now it has reached over 400 parts per million. This means there are 400 molecules of carbon dioxide in the air per every million air molecule. Here molecule means it is defined as two or more atoms of the same element or different element that are bound together. These figures get much higher when pollutants and dust mix with these gases. Carbon dioxide absorbs infrared radiation, which means heat. Here infrared means light, which has caused the average global temperature to increase. The main cause of global warming is the combustion of fossil fuels. Here combustion means burning of fossil fuels. The hydrocarbons released in the atmosphere heat up the planet because of the greenhouse effect, which is caused by the interaction between the atmosphere of the earth and the radiations coming from the sun. Next, we are going to learn about greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is a process that occurs when gases in Earth's atmosphere trap the sun's heat. This process makes Earth much warmer than it would be without an atmosphere. The greenhouse effect is one of the things that makes Earth a comfortable place to live. Greenhouse effect occurs when solar radiation hits the Earth's surface and then bounces back towards the atmosphere as heat. Gases in the atmosphere trap this heat, preventing them from escaping into the void of space. Greenhouse gases such as the carbon dioxide trap heat close to the Earth's surface. Therefore, changes in the amount of gases such as carbon dioxide makes a big difference in the amount of heat that is trapped in the atmosphere. The heating of the atmosphere affects the melting of glaciers. What is meant by glacier? It is a huge means extremely large mass of ice that moves slowly over land and frozen zones on the earth like the Arctic and the Antarctic regions. The higher melting of ice can submerge many islands and shorelines. It also brings about imbalance in rain and wind patterns, storms and cyclones, and ecology as a whole. So what is meant by ecology? Ecology means the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. 5th of June every year is celebrated as World Environment Day. So, it is important to realize that in the ecosystem, all elements of nature have some dependency and interaction. Therefore, if humans exploit means utilize or make use of the natural resources, it would affect other organisms and in the long term also affect humans. For example, if forests are cut down to make buildings, the environment will lose the major producer of oxygen. Slowly, this would affect humans as well. As members of the human environment, we should take adequate means sufficient care of nature and natural resources and not overconsume and exploit. Exploit means utilize or make use of them. A balance is necessary for better life on the earth. I have enclosed the classwork instructions in the PDF. Kindly refer it. So now we have reached the end of this session. Thank you.